Eric Crispin, and I'm working with TYC, Tanzania Youth Coalition, as a project coordinator. And I'll make this presentation. Tanzania Youth Coalition is a youth-led organization, and we're more than 10 years. Actually, we're older than Verge, but we turned 10 years last year. But basically, we're more than 10 years because the movement started since 2002, but officially we were registered in 2007. But for this presentation, I'm just going to talk about supporting structure, opportunities, and possibilities in Tanzania for partnership. So I want to talk a little bit about the role of TYC. What is our role as Tanzania Youth Coalition? So, given our experience in managing the exchange programs, we've noted that, or we've learned the lessons that preparation is very important, and especially preparation from the south side, and this should be done by the south people. So it's not a preparation, let's say you have a partner in Germany who is doing preparation to you. They're supposed to be a Tanzanian organization or somebody in Tanzania who knows the culture and everything, who can do the preparation process to you. This is vivid with the kind of exchange formats that we've been running throughout the years. And in that context, we have experience of running exchange programs for more than 7 years since we started the exchange programs, particularly the youth exchange programs. In the preparation process, it's very important to have the whole process of preparing, for example, the psychological preparations, the issues of culture, like one person talked about cultural shocks. All those things have to be in the preparation process. Like the partners who get into partnership or any person who gets into exchange programs has to go through the good preparation so that when they go in the process, they are aware of what is expected and they know how to do it and what they can do better. In this regard, I would say we've been collaborating with Engagement Global for more than 3 years already in the transfer of knowledge. So since we know in German, the German partners are well prepared. So the format of trainings and everything has been also transferred to us as TYC, as organization, so that we can all be in the same page, or we can have the matching of training, the matching of structure, and so forth. And also, our role can also be in the coordination, like the coordination of exchange and partnership. So for example, in the coordination, we know there are a lot of partners in Tanzania, for example, or a lot of partnership going on, but we need to be in the know of what kind of partnership, what kind of exchange programs. And in this regard, I'll explain later, we're conducting a mapping, for example, at the moment. And the mapping is basically for knowing who are the partners in exchange programs, who are the partners in the partnership, what do they do, and we want to see their existence, where do they exist, because sometimes there is a problem. You might have partners who do not really do the things that you think they're doing. So it's just that you found them online, on the internet, on the website, but they don't really exist. There are a lot of good people who are very creative and genius. They're very good in making good websites which are very colorful and attractive, but in reality, they do nothing. So that's very important for us as TYC to coordinate and to see the visibility and the existence of the partners. We are also doing capacity building. So given our experience in youth work, and particularly in the exchange programs and in sustainable partnership, or in managing the sustainable partnership, capacity building is very, very important. And capacity building in this regard, it's like we do time after time capacity building. So for example, we have the preparation seminar, midterm seminar, return seminar. They are all in the capacity building. We have to do check and balance, and we have to learn over the time. So for example, when we do monitoring and evaluation, we get all the lessons and we try to find what should be improved. And that is going to be in the capacity building. So for example, if we did, or if we conducted an exchange last year, and then we learned there was, let's say, several challenges, we found the better ways of tackling those challenges. And then in that regard, then we start doing or including something new in the capacity building. So the capacity building format is actually something which is, I'll say if it's a process, then it's an ongoing process, and it's not like uniform. It's not going to be like, for example, the capacity building we did last year. It's not the same as what we'll do like this year. It will be something which has improved, has increased on the weight. The package will be a little bit different given the lessons and experience that we've accumulated. And on this regard, TYC can play a very good role on the capacity building, because we're running different exchanges, and we have different partners in German. And so to speak, with German, we've been dealing with them for more than 10 years. So at least we are in the know of who are Germans. And most of us, we've already been living with them. For example, myself, I was a South North volunteer, the first one. So I was in the pioneer for the exchange program. I went to Germany for 1 year. We bring back the alumni, and we want the alumni to bring back the knowledge. And this one I'll talk a little bit later on how capacity building can be more practical when you involve the people with the practical experience, or with the reality, who have been facing the reality. So for example, if we're conducting exchange program, let's say, how do we incorporate the alumni of exchanges to be part and parcel of the capacity building? Because they're the ones, for example, who face the reality, or they're the ones who knows, for example, what went right, what went wrong. To involve them would help to improve the programs. Yeah, and another role that we're doing is follow-up. So we make sure that we do follow-up activities, and in this case, there are a lot of activities that can be planned, or of course for other programs are already planned by TYC, just to ensure that there is continuity, there's sustainability. Because in anything, you have to ensure that you make a follow-up to see what's going on, what's next. So for example, even after this workshop, or after this partner matching, we'll be doing follow-up to see what's next. And also, yeah, I've already spoke about return and midterm seminar. About alumni, I'll talk a little bit later, but we're thinking of having a multiplying effect of partnerships, of exchange programs. And in this regard, to have alumni, or to build a strong alumni network, is very, very paramount. But then the question always comes, how to support them? Where will the support come from? And that's why we need to have a very critical discussion on a clear alumni structure that can be sustainable and that can be strong. Yeah, so I would like to tell you a little bit about our development partners, or our partners that we're working with. So as I said, TYC, we've been operating for more than 10 years, and in this regard, we've been having different partners. One of our partners is the Prime Minister's office, and you even saw them yesterday. I think also we have a representative today. We've been working with them because they're dealing with youth. So for us, it's very important to see how we can, because we're doing lobbying and advocacy. And in this regard, it's very, very important to involve also the government of Tanzania, so that we can lobby for our youth inclusion, our youth issues, and youth policy as well. We have Mittelst Hamburg. This is our partner in German, where we're doing exchange program, a short-term exchange. Normal, we've been running that for more than 4 years now. And also we have Intera Group in Russia. We have Deutsch Tanzanisch Partnership. That's the one for 1 year exchange program, DTP. We have IB, International Bund, also for 1 year. We have National Democratic Institute. This is from United States of America, and we normally work with them on the governance program. We have WeEffect, that's based in Kenya, but it's with Sweden through the European cooperation. So we're the core applicant, but we're working with WeEffect as a main applicant. And one of the person was talking about how would it work if there are two partners. So we're already doing that, because we're also like in another program, we are the core applicant of a certain project which is about women and youth political awareness and empowerment. We're also working with the IGAD, that's the Global Center for Youth in Peace and Security. And we're also, of course, we have the African German Youth Initiative. Yeah, so a little bit of these exchange programs. I'll say in the exchange programs, we're playing a role, as I said, the role of TYC. So we have the preparation. Normally we prepare the volunteers or any person who is participating in the exchange programs. So we have the preparation phase, and then when they go, we ensure that we have the mentoring. So we mentor them. There is a mentor in our office. I think she was supposed to be here, but she went to the migration office. She's coordinating both South and North volunteers. And today she went to the migration office, I think, for the visa permit for German volunteers in Tanzania. But the coordination process in this regard is always like this mentor would be hearing or will be receiving the reports, monthly reports from the persons who are going for exchange program, like 1 year exchange. And they will be having in a very close contact to learn about their challenge, their experience, and if there's anything that they need support or help from us, from TYC, then that person would inform this mentor, and this mentor would be in a very good relationship to address any issue or any challenge. And also with the preparation issue, we ensure that the participants are well, they understand very well, for example, what is the program about. So for example, in case of short-term exchange program, we ensure that they understand what is expected of them and what they can bring in the project, because normally we have a diverse group of participants in the different exchange depending on the format. Yeah, so also a little bit about mapping. As I said, we're doing mapping at the moment, and we've already visited 6 regions, right, already? 5, yes, 5, but our target is to reach out 12 regions in Tanzania. And you can see this is the map of Tanzania, and that's just to show in a nutshell, like some of the mapping that we went to Mwanza, and actually Chekasana, we visited your organization as well. So you can see like how this one would work when you can go physically to the office of the partners, because sometimes they say, okay, there's this name, but maybe it doesn't exist. So with the mapping, it helps us to know their work and also to know what they're doing, and if there's any possibility for partnership, we know better. We know, like, on our database, we have this person and this person would match better given their activities and given their works. They can fit with the partner in German. Yes, and this is just an example of some of the placements that we have for our 1 year volunteers who are coming from Germany. These are the stations in Tanzania. So as I said, we're the coalition. And to be coalition, we're working with partner organizations who are formed in different parts of the country. And they're in Dodoma, Korogwe, they're everywhere. So normally we send volunteers there because they are our placement. Yeah, that's all. And I welcome questions now.
Okay, now you're welcome for questions or comments.